What's up, everybody? I'm Renfail. Welcome back to the channel for returning visitors. If you're new here, prepare to be amazed at Lord of the Rings Online, which is a fun game. It's a great game, even though it's an older MMORPG. And we now have a brand new feature as of this recording, which is like May 31st, June 1st, 2023, which is migrated over from one of the legendary servers to the live servers, and it's called the Hardened Traveler. What is the Hardened Traveler, you might ask? Well, this is the NPC that you talk to, which is part of the new landscape difficulty system. Now, this is a system that was previously only on some legendary servers, but as of update 36, which launched on May 31st, 2023, it has now become something that is available on all of the servers. How does it work? Well, if you're someone like me who has been playing the game since the beginning of time, it's always had one difficulty and that's it. And a lot of people have complained over the years that when they added, legendary items and all the changes that happen with an MMORPG over the course of a decade plus, and in this case 16 years, there are things that happen in the course of adjusting classes and things over time that mean power creep sort of makes some of the content trivial, especially when you look at the way the lower level content plays against the higher level content. And a lot of people have said that they wanted to have some of that difficulty back in the game. So this is a system that Standing Stones Games has put into their MMORPG, which allows you to choose the difficulty that you want to have when you're out exploring in the game world. Now, it's not a perfect system. It doesn't apply across the board to every single piece of content that's out there. There are caveats to all of these difficulty levels and how they work, and we're going to be talking about that based on the patch notes, which I have pulled up over on this webpage. So we'll be going through this here in a few minutes to sort of talk through in detail what all this stuff means. But in game, this is what you're going to be looking at here. Click the wrong tab there. I'm having fun, guys. Anyway, you're going to look for the Hardened Travelers throughout the game. We'll talk about more in the video where they're located here in a few minutes, because that post that I was talking about actually tells you where they're at. This is the one outside of the Prancing Pony in Bree, so we're literally right outside the Prancing Pony. The Hardened Traveler is here, and we can right-click on him and bring up all the different tiers. And there's also these tokens of heroism, which
would you do something for me?
You can get these heroes marks from some of the different tiers that allow you to then turn in for other things. And he's got barter
What
items.
Do you need?
So once you earn faction with him and earn all the things, you can get these potions of morale, elixir pillows, but also these cool emotes that you can only get through the bartering with the Hardened Traveler. So without further ado, we know what is the Hardened Traveler now. What is the landscape difficulty system? We've kind of done an overview and all that, and we've talked about where you can find the NPC in Bree. But let's actually dig into how all of this works. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get back on over to the other page. So let's read through this here. It says, landscape difficulty, which was originally introduced on the Treebird server, has been revamped and made available as an option to general game worlds. Note that the difficulty settings and effects are pretty much the same as they were on Treebeard, although they have changed up the names a bit and added a few variations to the hotspot effects you will encounter, or you can encounter, under the Eye of Sauron. There's also now the barter rewards, along with reputation accelerators and hit point and power potions. Alright, it says here, the new faction and reward structure is called the Paths of Valor. And we see that when we look at the NPC, it's called the Hardened Traveler. Difficulty Paths of Valor. I'll tab back in the game real quick and show you what that looks like. He literally says the Paths of Valor. Alright. Now, going back over here, it says you can activate, the Paths of Valor can be advanced by playing on higher difficulties. You can activate a difficulty setting by speaking with the Hardened Traveler and in major hubs and new player zones, who will offer you an array of quests representing the different difficulty levels. It says, upon accepting and completing one of these quests, your challenges on the roads to Middle-earth increase substantially. Now here's the caveat to all of this. The system turns off in group instances where you need 3 or more players, It also turns off in the Ettenmoors, and it turns off anytime the delving system is activated, but it is reactivated when you leave any of those areas. So again, it's not on all the time. It's on in many cases, but not all. So you need to understand, not in the Ettenmoors, not in delvings, and not when you do instances that have 3 or more players. There are titles available now for activating a difficulty of 3 or higher and keeping it there from level 10 to level 50, and then from level 50 to level 130, respectively. It says here the title granted depends on the class you play through, but can be used on any character on your account. And in order to earn these titles, you must keep the difficulty system active for the entire leveling span from level 10 through 50, and then from 50 to 130. It says here, entering areas of the game world where it is temporarily suppressed will not invalidate your title attempt, but if you turn it down to a different difficulty level, or you turn it off, that will cancel your attempt. Existing characters above level 10 are not able to earn the titles themselves, but can use those titles if they are earned by another character on the account, so you're going to have to use a new character if you want to earn the titles. It says here, when playing at fearless or higher, enemies of your own level or higher may drop those tokens of heroism that we were looking at earlier, and you can turn those in combined as part of a weekly task for the Hardened Traveler, which increases your reputation with the Paths of Valor faction. It says here, fearless difficulty, levels 3 to 6, tokens can drop for up to 3 members in a fellowship, and at heroic difficulty, which is 7+, they can drop for up to 6 members in a fellowship, and the drop rate increases per higher difficulty. Very interesting. So going back to here, there are multiple tiers. So what they were just speaking to is in reference to the types of tiers that you would get. So 7+ is those, and 3 to 6 is going to be the other ones. So food for thought. Now, when you talk to one of these,
might I take a moment of
you
your
choose
time?
one of these options to talk to the NPC, it doesn't actually tell you how much. This is the one question I have, and I'll be honest that I looked online and I haven't found any solid information because this is a new system, and I don't know if they've put this out there in the forums, and if they have, someone can correct me. But I don't know that there's any way to tell in advance how much the difficulty is going to be adjusted once you choose one of these options. So I'm going to work through this because I've never done this before, so I actually want to choose an option and see what it looks like when it applies to my character. I did some reading that said at one point in time it was something like 10% increments. So basically for each difficulty tier that you choose, it would make things about 10% more difficult for you by, giving more hit points to mobs, making it harder for you to hit the mobs, and it gives the mobs buffs like this something called the Eye of Sauron, which comes down and wrecks you on certain difficulties. So yeah, let's walk through this. Let's see what it looks like when I choose one. So I'm just going to choose the first level.
Would you do
Greetings,
something
traveler.
for me?
I watch those who stride the roads of Middle-earth in search of challenge and adventure. The roads of Middle-earth, okay, yeah, you seem just the sort. Indeed, there are some who prefer even greater challenges to overcome, and I can assist you with this. Should you accept my boon, you will find your enemies on the roads and fields of Middle-earth becoming stronger and more dangerous in your quest for glory. Is this what you desire? I'm going to accept. Okay, and I'm going to just immediately turn that in. And I want to see what it says here.
Greetings.
Are you certain you wish to step forward on this path? Yep. Increased difficulty on landscape and in missions. Warning, completing this quest will permanently prevent completion of the fearless difficulty title deeds. That's fine. Your road ahead has become more dangerous, and now if we click up here, aha! It was 10%. Well, it said 10% here. You have chosen to face a little more. You've chosen to face a more difficult challenge in the lands of Middle-earth. 10% experience gain on monster kills. 1% virtue earned. Now I don't know how to tell if we can or not how, if a mob is more difficult. So just out of sheer curiosity, I am bound in Rohan where there are mobs that are my level. But we're also going to run outside really quick, outside of Bree, and just see if there's any sort of inherent buff that has been put on the NPCs that makes them more difficult? Or exactly how does this apply to me? Is it just a debuff against all of my stats? Or is it a buff against mobs? I don't know how to determine. Hey everyone, Renfail here with the commercial part of the video where I say, hey, if you like this, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you never miss an update. And thanks to all of our supporters are here on YouTube and over on Patreon, our highest members, our guild champions, Crazy Relative, Remy D here on YouTube. And don't forget, if you want to support, it's really easy. You can do the memberships below, the Adventurers Guild, 3 different tiers. There's also the super thanks on any uploaded video or YouTube short that you find. There's also, of course, the super chats and stickers that you could do on any live stream or premiere, and the Patreon page if you want to dive into the fantasy world that I have with my brother and my wife, which is a tabletop game, a point-and-click adventure game, and a fantasy book series. All are great ways to keep this channel going and me going full-time. Thanks again for those of you who support. Let's get back to the video that you're watching now, what this is. So I'm looking for anything over here. Look, here's a bear. It doesn't actually tell me anything about the bear. It just has this buff, difficulty 1 adventurous, 10% experience gain. So I don't know if that means it's a 10% experience gain in change for a 10% difficulty adjustment. What I'm not sure on, and if somebody out there has more information on how the landscape difficulty works, what I don't know is, again, is this a modifier against me where it's simply reducing my effectiveness by 10% or whatever it is per tier? Because that's what it looks like. I don't appear to see, or at least I didn't see anything on the mob when I hovered over the mob to see whether or not it was going to get a buff or not. I just have something on my character, which I don't see any more information about what is on me in terms of a buff and stuff. So, food for thought. Anyway, the system is live now in Lord of the Rings Online. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the landscape difficulty mode. I hear a lot of people saying they love it. I hear a lot of people saying they couldn't wait for this. They were tired of how easy Lord of the Rings Online is. I'm not one of those people. I don't play this game to be challenged. I play Lord of the Rings Online to relax and explore Middle-earth and have it be... I don't want it to be difficult at all. If I want to be challenged, I'll go do a raid or a dungeon with friends. I've always found that I don't need to have any additional challenge to make this game fun for me. But different strokes for different folks. I know a lot of people enjoyed this, and that's why they moved it to the live server, so now people have the option. Especially if they're playing with a group of friends and they really want to crank it up to the difficulty that it used to be back when the game was live. You can now sort of replicate that from a level 10 from level 10 all the way up if you want to. Plus, you're going to get those cool titles if you attempt to do that and you make it without failing along the way. So, love to hear your thoughts. Drop them down in the comments below. And until next time, everybody, stay safe, happy gaming. See you in Lord of the Rings next time we play in LOTRO.